Hello everyone. It's been a while. Must be nearly 3 weeks since I last did a video for you. Now, I didn't really want to be a boring YouTuber and just give you status updates on my dialysis until I had something a bit important to tell you. And now we do. So the story, just to recap the past 3 weeks, has pretty much been the same as what you've seen previously in videos. I've been a thick clot, as always. Some days we've been able to needle, some days we haven't. When we have, it's only been with a single needle. I think for example, Saturdays have been a complete blowout. We haven't had any success at all. It's just luck of the draw, no particular reason why it's always Saturdays that seems to fail. Midweek has been more or less successful. I've had a few full 4 hours, but again with a single needle. And they've got plenty of fluid off. But single needle dialysis is not as effective as 2 needle dialysis. And also with 2 needles they've been wanting to try something called hemodiafiltration, which puts a bit of fluid back into me to help with the clotting, but they've been completely unable to do that. Generally, the dialysis seems to leave me feeling better. I've had a few cramps in my hands post when I have had a fully successful dialysis, but nothing too major. The first time we were a little bit worried, so we ended up calling the 111 service, and they sent us to urgent care, and urgent care sent us to A&E, and we ended up with a night in A&E, which was a little over the top probably in the end, but would understand playing safe. But we now know, we're a bit more familiar. It's still learning as to how my body reacts to this, so generally it's been in getting used to. But as I say, there has been this problem that it's been a single needle operation only, which is not fundamentally ideal. So what are we going to do about this? Well, last week I was asked to go to the Oxford Churchill and go and see the surgeon in charge of the study that I've been on, and he took a good look at my arm, and they think the vein they've been needling has become occluded. Now, if you look at some of these shots I've taken, because I have taken some videos over the past few weeks, just not used them, as I say, for fear of being boring. But you'll see my arm has been quite bruised. And obviously bruises, they tighten up your muscle and it all contracts. So I can imagine that's probably pushing on the vein, keeping it not doing well with the flow. Obviously the fact that my cephalic vein branches in two and rejoins probably isn't helping. But there's a lot of question marks there as to whether that's the right needling site. So, cut a long story short, today, right now, I'm sitting waiting for transport to take me to John Radcliffe in Oxford, and I'm going to go and see the radiologist. And remember, it's the fistula was created in radiology using the new technique, and they're going to perform a fistulagram, and that sounds fancy, and all they're going to do is just inject me with some dye that's visible under x-rays, and take an x-ray of my arm, so they get a nice picture of the network of veins and arteries that are in my arm, and they can take a good look as to how things have matured since the fistula was created. So as I say, I'm waiting for the transport to take me over there, and hopefully I'll be able to get a copy of that picture and show you, because I'm sure that's going to be quite interesting. The idea is I get that back to the Milton Keynes team for tomorrow's dialysis. So maybe we can find a better needling point, or maybe the consultant may need, as a worst case scenario, to decide that I need a graft, a loop graft, which is another connection in my arm that's going to go between an artery and a vein. It'll be close to the surface of the skin, and that will provide effectively an artificial needling point, as well as improving the flow and generally providing a reliable place where they can do dialysis. So that's probably the worst case scenario. Hoping we don't have to do that, but we'll see what today comes up and what the Fistulagram produces. So watch this space. I'll be back in a few seconds with results, hopefully. So here I am in the recovery room at John Radcliffe in the radiology unit. So got a couple of screenshots of the Fistulagram. So looks like that when they created the fistula, they put a coil in my deep brachial vein, which is supposed to restrict the blood flow, sending it through the cephalic and the basilic veins instead, out of my arm. And it looks like that's not as effective as they thought it would be. The coil they've put in, which you can see, it's a little squiggly bit in the middle of the picture here, isn't restricting the flow. You can see how thick that brachial vein is, and the cephalic vein above and the basilic veins below are much smaller and haven't engorged as much as they're supposed to. So I've got to go and see the dialysis team tomorrow as normal, and I'll put up another update after that. But it looks like I'm off dialysis for a little bit until they can get me back in and fix the problem with the coil and get the blood flowing in the direction that the blood's supposed to be flowing in. So watch this space. Hopefully I'll have some more news tomorrow, and this was a slightly more important day than I thought it would. So keep in touch, keep your comments coming, and I'll speak to you very shortly.